stuck in Peru. It's closing its borders. We need to either stock up on food or find a flight home. Everybody is in a panic. Cusco to San Francisco. Oh my god.
People in Peru, we're trying to get them out.
Crazy. Look at all the people down here.
Situation will extend until April 12th.
Our lockdown is until the 26th now. It looks like our lockdown is extended yet again.
Women can only go out on Tuesdays and keep coming out of their house.
Wow.
Oh my god. And they're walking right behind us. You can see them marching.
What's up guys? I'm Alexander Travelbum and this is my girlfriend Lindsay, and we've been on lockdown here in Cusco, Peru for the last month. And there are a lot of new viewers here, a lot of new people to the channel, so we thought that we would just go over our story, just so you guys know what's going on and know how we got here. We're gonna rewind it back a few months and start from there.
Alright, so our relationship began back in December 2019. I have always had a heart for travel and a big desire to see the world, so I was finally gonna do that. I was gonna take a break from working and go travel. So I started researching YouTube videos on Southeast Asia. Well, Alex has traveled to Southeast Asia, and on his other channel, Alexander Travelbum, he has quite a few videos on that channel about Southeast Asia and packing videos and a lot of stuff like that. So I stumbled across a few of his videos, and after about 2 or 3 videos in, I was like, I kind of want to know this person. I want to know more about his story. So I found his Instagram account and I messaged him. Didn't think I would hear back just because he had quite a few subscribers and followers. So I didn't ask any questions, not expecting a response at all. So a day or 2 later, I was happily surprised to get a message from him on Instagram. And then we started messaging pretty much nonstop for like a month. And then about 2 weeks into talking so much, we figured, well, maybe we should meet.
So I was home for a little bit from traveling. I was gonna be home for a month or 2 in between for Christmas, and she was also home.
And I'm from Minnesota, and he's from California.
We were both sitting at home. We didn't have much to do at home until we were both gonna start traveling, so we thought maybe we can meet up somewhere.
So we went into Skyscanner and clicked anywhere to see where the cheapest flights were gonna be, and Bozeman, Montana was pretty much at the top of the list, and it was smack dab in the middle of Minnesota and California, so it was perfect. So we booked a flight 2 weeks into talking.
And we met up in the middle of the States in Bozeman, Montana. And this is what it looked like. We just made it to a frozen waterfall. Holy hell.
I am with Alexander Travelbum.
There's nobody else here. This is a huge frozen waterfall.
So it was a 4-day trip. We got along super well. We traveled pretty much the same way. And then we flew back to our home states and knew that we would start planning our next travels, but we didn't know where exactly it would be.
So it only took about a week after we got back from that trip. We knew that we wanted to see each other again soon. We both wanted to travel, and so we started making plans together instead of separate. And we started looking for flights, looking for cheap flights anywhere around the world, since we were both open to traveling to a number of places. And we landed on South America. For some reason at that time, flights to South America were very cheap.
Super cheap.
And so we hadn't even really talked about South America too much. We had been talking about everywhere else in the world, and it just happened to match up right. And Lindsay found Colombia for very cheap, and I said, okay, let's go.
So the travel plans that we made was to travel South America from early February until about mid-May. So about 3 months in South America, and just to see as much as we could see.
I am in the airport right now, and I'm going to Mexico, but I am meeting up with a friend, someone very special. So then we flew to Mexico City, and we were in Mexico City for about a week. Tamarindo, Guanabana. The House of Thai alleyway covered with these tarps. Alright, so after Mexico City, we flew to Bogota, Colombia, and then we spent about 3 weeks traveling around Colombia.
Bienvenidos a Colombia.
Bienvenidos a Colombia.
Colombia.
Yeah. This is Plaza de Bolivar.
Corn on the cob in Colombia.
Welcome to our Airbnb in Bogota, Colombia. Just walking around the streets.
So we started in Bogota, we went to Medellin, Cartagena, Guatape.
Salento. It's so surreal, it's just huge. Welcome to the Pink Sea of Colombia. So after about 3 weeks in Colombia, having a great time, seeing a bunch of places, we decided to fly to a new country, and we found cheap flights to Peru. So we flew into Lima. There are a few penguins up here among the thousands of other birds.
So we went from Lima to Paracas to Ica,
Huacachina.
Arequipa, and then we landed here in Cusco.
So we only got 1 day to explore Cusco before lockdown.
We had no idea lockdown was coming. We got to Cusco, thought it was just gonna be like any other city we have been to.
We had a lot of plans. We had a ton of plans for Cusco. It was at the top of our list of destinations in all of South America. And we had just come off of an overnight bus that we were on for a very long time. So we were tired, so we thought we would just
Take it easy.
take an easy day, go to one restaurant and just walk around a little bit. So then the next day, I woke up early in the morning, maybe 6 in the morning, and I woke up to news that Peru was going to be on lockdown starting at midnight that day.
Which came out of nowhere.
Good morning, guys, from Cusco, Peru. I just woke up to a state of emergency, and the president of Peru just said that it's closing its borders, that all transportation is done starting midnight. We need to either stock up on food or find a flight home ASAP.
We are stuck here. There's no flights home.
Really? How many places did you check?
I typed anywhere in the United States. I put United States in Skyscanner.
So I just got on my Peru travel Facebook group, and everybody is in a panic. Can't leave the country, can't enter the country, can't move to another city, you can't get buses to go anywhere. So we're gonna check on a few more flights and see if there's anything going out of here.
So we found out that morning that we only had until midnight that night to leave. Otherwise, borders were going to be closing. So we essentially had pretty much no time to book a flight.
We weren't sure if we wanted to stay or go. If we were going to be locked down for months, we might want to go home. We just wanted to look at our options. We got on our computers and we both looked for flights, and it showed this. Nothing. Okay, Cusco to San Francisco. Oh my god. It looks like we are truly stuck here in Cusco, Peru. We're stuck
In isolation.
in Cusco, and not only in Cusco, in our house. Starting at midnight tonight, so we have to go out and get food, and I don't know what else.
Like everyone else and stock up on toilet paper. So, the decision was made for us. We were going to be in Cusco, Peru for lockdown.
So we had to find an Airbnb quickly, we had to stock up on food. We were thinking, people were saying that there was going to be no toilet paper, that all the food was going to be gone, that kind of thing. And so we went out right away.
Which
and
we were nervous to hear that because we're in a foreign country, so it's like...
we weren't even used to Cusco. Like, we didn't know anything about where we were. We didn't know where stores were. We didn't know anything. So we left and tried to stock up on food, and it was madness outside the day before lockdown. Take a look. This is crazy. Look at this market on all sides. Look at all the people down here. Where are all these people? out for a little while. We got all the food and everything we needed, and now it's just all the cafes are closed, all the restaurants. There aren't really touristy things going on. So I think we're just gonna go back and start our lockdown.
That day was completely hectic. You could feel the intense energy in the air.
Yeah.
All the people out there trying to make their last sales and make the money that they could before lockdown. Tons of people trying to stock up on food and supplies because we had no idea how long lockdown would go or what to expect.
So we booked an Airbnb as fast as we could. We were thinking that all the tourists were gonna have to book Airbnbs very quickly because we were gonna be on lockdown and they weren't able to leave. And so we did it a little too quickly, and it didn't quite have the things that we needed for a lockdown, to be stuck in a house for weeks.
You want to cook some dinner and cut up a lime? Good luck. Because all you got in here is some broken ladles and a plastic little knife, or, a butter knife. So we spent about $200 for 2 weeks for that Airbnb, and we ended up having to tell the host that we wanted to find a different Airbnb.
We ended up just giving him half of the money anyway for the inconvenience.
We felt bad because we were the ones who booked it. Kind of our fault in a way.
Yeah, but he made out all right.
We learned our lesson. Now we're a lot more picky when we're booking Airbnbs during lockdown. So then we found a different Airbnb that we stayed in for about 3 weeks, and it was great for what we needed it for. It was like $17 a night, so pretty affordable.
We started our lockdown thinking that it was going to be 2 weeks long.
And then it got extended 2 more times after that.
So far.
Oh.
We're still here.
Here in Peru, the situation will extend until April 12th.
Our lockdown is until the 26th now. It looks like our lockdown is extended yet again.
It looks like it's going to be extended until May 10th now. How long will this go on?
So at first, lockdown was only supposed to be for 2 weeks, and there weren't too many rules about it. You were supposed to stay inside, you could only go out for the pharmacy or go out to get food at the couple places that were open. But over time, there were more and more rules, and things just seemed to be getting worse. The police presence was there at the beginning, but over time, there was more.
They keep coming out of our truck.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, there's like 12 of them. And they're walking right behind us. You could see them marching.
The first week or two, we were going out without masks. I mean, we had them with us, but not everyone was wearing them. And then at a certain point, masks became mandatory. And so now, when you see people out, every single person is wearing the masks. And there's a fine now if you don't wear the mask while you're out. And then after the second extension of lockdown, they made it a rule that genders could not go out on the same day. The president of Peru, he announced that men and women aren't allowed to go out together.
Women can only go out on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays.
So today is Friday, lucky me.
I do notice a difference about the number of people that are out here.
You just don't see many people out at all.
So it's kind of weird not having Alex.
That's kind of a weird thought that I'll never see her outside.
So women went out 3 days out of the week, and men went out on the other 3 days of the week. And then on Sundays, no one could go outside.
So luckily, after a week of that, they rescinded that rule, and we're allowed to go out on any day that we want, but we can't go out together. You're only allowed to go out one person at a time per household. So a highlight of our trip. One day we were out stocking up on food, going to the market, and then this
No stray dog approached me and wanted some pets. So I'm an animal lover. I pet a lot of the stray animals around here.
So she pet him for less than a minute, not even that long.
I would say it was like 5-10 seconds.
Just a couple
real
of pets. And then he followed us all the way home. And he waited outside of our door. And so
he acted like he was our dog.
So then we decided to let him in one night because it was cold, and we gave him a little pad, a little bed to sleep on, some food and water. He was really thirsty, and he never left.
We decided to name him Mr. Potato Head. Some of you may be asking, why did you name him Mr. Potato Head? Well, one night, about 2 days after we had him, we're like, we gotta find him a name. Alex said that he looked like a potato.
When he's curled up on the floor, he looks like the shape of a potato. He was a little overweight when we found him somehow, and he's just round.
So we weren't the only Americans stuck here. As time went on, we read on social media, on the news, that there was tons of other Americans stuck abroad in Peru.
So about 2 weeks after lockdown, that's when the US started sending in evacuation flights to pick up its citizens.
There's a group of young people in Peru. We're trying to get them out.
Peru has actually been in the news lately, actually the Americans that are stuck in Peru, and how Trump is gonna send some planes to come get us.
And we're working on taking care of that with the military.
So military evacuation?
Yeah, we're looking to take, no, not evacuation. We're trying to get them out.
So a lot of Americans started getting picked up for the next 2 weeks. So the embassy was emailing us every day, telling us that there were flights and that we could go home if we got on this long list of people trying to get home.
And the flights were not free either.
So let's see how much it would cost just for one leg of that. So there you have it.
So we had a big decision to make on whether we stayed or we went. We had a lot of discussions about it. It was very stressful because there's a lot of unknown circumstances. We didn't know how long the lockdown would go here. Also, things in the USA started getting a lot worse, a lot more cases than here in Peru. So we really had to weigh the pros and cons, and ultimately, we decided to stay.
So if you watched our last video, you'll know that the US government has been sending planes to Peru to pick up its citizens that are stuck here. And I think we decided we're gonna stay. And there are good reasons, we think good reasons for that. We decided to stay because also at this time, about 3 weeks into lockdown, that's when the US surpassed everywhere else in the world in coronavirus cases.
#1. So we think it's actually probably safer to stay here.
New York, Washington, and California, where I'm from. Those were the hardest hit states. So it wasn't looking very good if we wanted to go home. So most recently, a few days ago, we heard that Cusco had all of its COVID patients go home from the hospitals. And so Cusco had gotten a lot better when it came to coronavirus. And so we had high hopes that the lockdown was not going to be extended, that everything was getting better. And then we read the news about Lima.
So while it was getting better in Cusco, that was unfortunately not the case for Lima. Lima is actually getting worse and growing in cases, and the hospitals can barely keep up with all the COVID patients that are coming in. And so Peru decided to extend the lockdown for all of Peru.
And so that was a few days ago, and now it is day 45 of lockdown.
We have been documenting this entire COVID lockdown situation in Peru through vlogs. Every other day we post. So if you want to follow the story from the beginning, you can go to the very first video and follow from there.
We're going to continue these videos for the duration of the lockdown. We're going to be putting these out every other day.
After the lockdown ends, we are going to be documenting our travels through vlogs as well. So the journey doesn't end after lockdown, so stay tuned for that.
Thank you so much to everyone who's been watching all these videos, for your comments, your likes, your support, the patrons, the PayPal donations. You guys have been awesome. It's really helped with this situation. It helps us feel like we have someone with us and it's not just us. We have a little community. To all of our patrons, you guys are awesome. And we have you guys to talk to, so thanks for being there. If you can't support the channel financially, but you still want to help in some way, sharing this video is the biggest help. We want to share this documentation of the lockdown with everyone that we can. So share it on social media, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, anywhere you can, so that more people can see this video and follow this journey.
So that is our story. Hope that you enjoyed it, and thank you so much for watching.
And the story will continue. See you in the next one.
How do you do it when you're not holding it?
Do you want postcards from around the world? Right now I am writing and drawing on postcards to my subscribers. If you want to join my Patreon, click the link below. You'll be supporting the channel and you'll be getting something pretty cool with a drawing from me. Hey, thanks for making it all the way through this video. If you want to watch more, click one of these videos. Subscribe because I'm traveling all around the world and I'm sharing the whole thing with you. Thanks.